Welcome to Ojas Oasis. This is a place where you will learn how to optimize your body, mind, and spirit in ways you have longed for a long time, perhaps your entire life. Our mission is to help you cultivate, nourish, and protect your ojas, your immunity, and inner peace. For part 2 of our 3-part series, it's so great to see your face and to hear your voice again. Welcome back.
Namaste, Sasha.
So we're picking up where we left off as promised. We have a series called Ayurveda for Happy and Healthy Kids, and it's a big topic. I mean, life is a big topic, and when we're talking about the life knowledge for kids, there's many aspects to it. It's not just one dimensional. So today I was hoping we could dive into dinacharya, the daily routine, and also vihara, or lifestyle and activities for children, and even differentiating between the two. What is the difference between vihara and dinacharya? And I would love to kick off with the first question of what an ideal dinacharya looks like for children in different stages, or is it the same for every stage?
Okay. The dinacharya for children are totally different from adults because the need for that particular period is different from the adults' mind body system needs, right? In adults, for example, we need to sleep to recoup back, whereas in children, they need to sleep to recoup back and grow because the growth and development happens in the deepest state of sleep. So that means children may need much more sleep than adults. In fact, babies will sleep much more time than they are awake during the day. So the dinacharya, the routines are different for children than the adults. The primary is the need for more sleep than adults. Okay. And then the rhythms of the sleep, then setting the feeding or eating based on that, because that childhood is the time of development, physical development, functional development, mental, emotional development, the entire process. And while we are awake, you cannot tie your lace while running, right? The same way, that process will be optimal in the deepest state of sleep. So that is the primary difference. Second, their feeding patterns are different, right? So babies, it's not like we have a 2 meal or 3 meal pattern. There's a breastfeeding period that will happen more frequently. Then when it is, first phase is the only breastfeeding, so that goes day and night. Not only during the day, even during night. Then there is a breast milk with some additional food, and then goes into only the normal food. These are the three progressive phases of feeding. So accordingly, that routine is different. And then finally, of course, we'll join the adult group. So the routines are, the dinacharya practices are slightly different than the others. Then certain practices, what we do, children may not be able to do, right? In an Ayurvedic dinacharya, oil application, good for all age groups, right? No problem. Kids can also have everyday abhyanga. Unless and until they have any, cold or congestion fever, we avoid. Otherwise, everyday oil application can be done. But the nasya, the nasal drops, will not be done in small babies. It will be done at a later part of when they are become about 7+. That is the time when we start that. So there are variations based on the particular nature of that phase of the life.
How about for playtime? Is there a particular time that's best for them to get their energy out? And another thing is, I've noticed that, when I travel, particularly to Europe, I see a lot of moms leaving their babies out in the stroller to get a little bit of sunlight, just a little bit of
Mm,
sun exposure. And I've always wondered, how much do we
sure,
want to expose them to the elements?
sure, sure. So first of all, a little bit of a calibration that even many parents think that I am making the child to play to finish their energy coming out. It is not about exhausting the energy. It's a part of their exposure, development, their movement, it's more than spending the additional energy. In fact, making children too much active and making them to really exhausted is not a great idea, because the sleep what they can get or the benefit after complete exhaustion is not that good enough from a normally you are getting sleep without that extreme exhaustion. Making yourself that really tired and sleeping, many people will say that, oh, if I don't do my that intense exercise in the evening, I cannot sleep. From an Ayurvedic standpoint, a healthy sleep should be normally you are able to sleep. Making yourself really tired, you may feel that you are more relaxed, but you are there misinterpreting the exhaustion with relaxation. So, but activity is important in children to facilitate the growth, etc. Of course, being out in the nature and a little bit sun and a little bit the how we develop strength, right? There are primarily three sources of or modes of developing strength from an Ayurvedic standpoint. One is called sahaja, that means you born with the innate strength. That could be physical strength, mental strength, and immune strength, all this. And second is kalajam, means over a period of time you develop through exposure. So that means your exposure to the real world, the outside world, it's so important for you to develop the inner strength. And I've seen parents these days after the pandemic, etc., trying to isolate children because they care about their children. They want to protect them.
Right.
Or don't touch there, don't go there, that is dirt, etc. That may create more problem for the future. That means you are not allowing them to have the exposure to the real normal world. So I always say, of course, we need to care about children. We should, help them, protect them. But we should allow a controlled exposure to ensure they develop the inner strength, physical, mental, and immune strength. There comes whether it is being in the sun or being out in the nature, walking around, exposure to the normal atmosphere, the breeze, and all these are important for inner development, not just physical, but the immune system, especially exposure, is so important.
Mhm.
By the way, the third mode of acquiring the strength is logically created. These are the three ways you can develop strength. Okay, acquired or innate, developed over a period of exposure to this real world. Third is logically created. In the logically created, we can say, oh, you do breathing practice every day, you do the chants every day, or you take some rasayana herbs, or herbal formulation every day. These are all logically we create the strength
Mm.
internally.
I love when you do the lists. When it's like a simple list of 3 or 4 or 5, I'm just like, yeah, let's do lists. It makes it, I don't know, it just organizes the material in such a simple way. Because you're taking pretty not like the most complex, but you are simplifying it in a way that's very easy to understand.
I always try to do that, and that really helps. In my usual consultation also, if I tell them, our whole life depends upon our inputs and lifestyle, and inputs are only four: food, water, breath, and perception. So very easy if you know, okay, these are the definite area I can work with. The same way about food. when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat. Only three factors.
Mm,
That helps.
I love it. You did it again. 4 and then 3. It's just like I love it. If you can count it on your hand, you can definitely remember.
Exactly.
So one thing I've been thinking about is uh, the exposure to germs, because you kind of hinted at it. During COVID, we were all
Mhm,
masked up and we were carrying around hand
mhm,
sanitizer,
mhm,
and people are just
mhm.
very germ. They've developed this phobia almost of germs, and I don't know if people understand how the immune system works and how exposing
Exactly.
children, especially children at a young age, and letting them play in the dirt and letting them just run around and be free and be kids is actually
Mhm.
enhancing their immune system. Um,
Yeah,
it's
there are two aspects to it. One is the overall general exposure. I totally agree with you. It's not a good idea everywhere you wipe with this 99.99 bacteria killing, virus killing wipes. Yeah, I see that. Whether it is your kitchen countertop or your toilet, everywhere and not realizing that the germ may have only one or two cells, it's small. This is a collection of such cells in our body. So anything toxic to another biological environment, one way or other way, is toxic to yourself also. Second is about this exposure. When you isolate yourself with all these measures, especially the chemical measures that kills all the microorganisms around us, that creates more susceptibility in future. But at the same time, I want to remind your audience that when there is a known threat which is identified as beyond normal human resistance, we may have to protect. But that is not forever. That is when we identify, oh, there is a COVID, we don't know how to handle it. Its impact may be very severe. Let us protect. That's only situational. Sometime we'll have to situationally protect ourselves to avoid a major issue. But generally, getting into the same mode of complete protection is not a good idea, especially when it comes to children, because that younger age is the time they really develop all the resistance against exposure. That's why not only about germs, even I have seen parents, they say that, oh, I don't give much sweet item sugar because sugar may not be good. They may develop diabetes in future. The reality is totally opposite. If your child is used to more sweet and sugars in the early childhood, they will have much more resistance because their inner system will align and develop the ability to resist. So no point in isolating them or getting into this too much strict mode because I love my child. So
That's really what it is, isn't it? It's like the rigidity, I think, in parenting, and uh that's kind of what can drive imbalance into the child, is this like extreme, either absolutely no sugar in the house, or it's a free for all and the kids having candy right before bed every night and nobody's saying anything. So, and the same thing with the antibacterial wipes. It's like, to an extent, we want, like, there are obviously certain things, if your kid picks up, that you're like, you definitely do not want that going in their mouth, right? Like a shoe,
correct,
bottom, like
definitely.
yeah, we don't even have to make a list. It's pretty intuitive, the things that probably shouldn't be ingesting certain objects, you know.
Mm,
But I think lots of parents just don't know. They just don't have the knowledge of what is the fine line between protecting, like you said, protecting your child from
yeah,
toxins and from bacteria and from sugar, because of course, and also there's different types of sugar. I also don't think that people understand
exactly.
the different qualities of different types of sugar. um, so maybe
Yes.
we go into
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I think I totally agree. I've seen this where parents are very anxious because they love their children. They are so protective because they really want to take care of their children. And so what we are doing whether it is restricting them from doing things, taking things, etc. That is one aspect. Every time, I think we discussed this in our part one, that the more no you tell to your child, the more it is going to affect their mental emotional state even as an adult, because every no is a pullback, a restriction. Every no creates a jerk. I'm going to take it, no. So what will happen is their self confidence in the future, their ability to take decision and move forward, that will really get affected. So I always tell parents that the less you are able to say no to your child, the better. Sometimes you may have to, but you can do that in a different way. Rather, no, no, don't touch, don't do. So that one part of it. Second is about, as a part of protection, being too rigid about it. And as you know, the principle, discussed in Ayurveda is a medium path in everything, right? And too much is not good, too less is not good, because in the physiology and psychology of all living beings, health is the balance. So more is a problem, less is a problem. Balance is health. The same way, in to sustain that balance, everything in our life we need to take it into a kind of a moderate path. Not, as you mentioned, not too much candies as and when you want and unlimited, but no, oh, that is sweet, that is sugar, don't take it. And so that is the way to look at it. Then again, there are different options available in this world, right? I always tell this in my classes and to the people that the name is not the problem. In the Western, countries, what you get in that name is the problem. Many a time, milk is not the problem, but what you get in the name of milk in the market is the problem, right? Soya may not be a problem. What you get in the name of soy in the market is a problem, right? So going for more natural, wholesome options. If it is sugar, going for some unrefined cane sugar, or some jaggery, or date syrups, maple syrup, something natural, organic. That option will be always ideal than going for this processed white sugar and those type of
Mm-hmm.
options.
And also, it's the kapha stage of life. So we want to nurture that as well, right? The fact that they are in that stage, like that's the time that they're building, their earth
Exactly.
element. They need less restriction and more uh, material to build that body that they're growing into.
Very good point. I have seen this even within the Ayurvedic community. Because whenever we hear about a dosha, we think that we need to reduce the dosha, right? Oh, it's a kapha stage, and that means we need to reduce the kapha. No, you should nurture the kapha without allowing that to aggravate. So that's the key, right? And as you rightly pointed out, that childhood is the growth, the building time, the growing time, holding it together, where kapha is the blessing, the real blessing. So we should not reduce kapha in the childhood. That's why many parents I have seen, there is a restriction for giving honey till the age 1. But after that, many parents try to use more honey as a sweetener in children because they don't want to give the sugar. So I tell them, hey, too much even honey is not good for your child, because honey is reductive.
Right.
It is kapha pacifying, drying, heating, and reductive. And during the growing and developing time, you don't want too much reductive. You can give some here and there. Don't think that you can replace all the sweet requirement by honey. That may not be supporting their growth and development, because honey is reductive.
Hmm. Should we transition into like morning or evening rituals that can help children feel more grounded, focused, and regulated?
Sure, Sure. Usually, I start discussing about the routine not in the morning. I start with the previous night because your morning depends upon the previous night, your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
All children should sleep very early. Okay. The smaller the child, the more need for sleep. Okay. And baby during the breastfeeding time will have to sleep during night. Will have to take. You'll have to sleep in the in the daytime, and only few hours of awake, but more sleep because that's the fastest growing developing time, right? But as they move to say 3 years, 4 years, that option, they should sleep by 7:38, right? The other day I had a child with an allergy and an autoimmune condition, and I asked, "What time you make your child to sleep?" 10:30, 11 usually with us. Then I told, "Please, okay, late nights are not an option for children, right? Because deepest state of sleep is the time of healing, repair, recoupment, rejuvenation, and growth. That too only at night, right? Primarily at night, especially when it comes to the subtle systems, the mind, the nervous system, the immune system, the hormonal system. They are all subtle system. They cannot rest and recoup during the heating, stimulating sun energy time the day. So the real benefit of your sleep should come from sleeping during the moon hours, that is at night. So children should sleep by 7:38, and even as they grow, whether it is 10, 12, you can move from that 7:38 to 8:30 or so. According to me, all children until the age of 16 should sleep by 9 o'clock. But I read an article a few months ago. It was saying, and it was really surprising for me and feeling alarmed, that the most active time for children in America, teenagers in America, that article was saying it is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.,
Oh,
the most active time for teenagers.
wow.
So early to sleep. So now waking up. It is ideal to develop a habit of waking up slightly early. It may not be 4 or 5 and all in small babies and children, but not too late. Okay. I would say if a child is sleeping by, say, before 8, then of course by about 7 or so, that means they get a good amount of sleep. They can get up, and we usually suggest feed the child, if it's a small baby, immediately after waking up. You need to, ideally, even for adults, within that 1 to 2 hours after waking up is the right time, because once you wake up in the morning your system is active, so you need the resources to be given, like the sunrise, right? It is the time where you are, the fire, everything is getting activated, so you need to give the fuel to the system that will give energy throughout the day, that will give more nourishment to the system. So um, that is that. Then after the age of 1 to 2, after that, because up to 9 months to 1 year, it is more ideally breast milk. Most of these days, at the month of 6 or 5, 6, they may feel that, oh, breast milk is not enough. I need to give something additional. They start having that, and it will go on till the 1. After the 1, then it will become more. Still, breastfeeding may happen, and the food will increase, the other food will increase, and gradually transition into more the normal food. So during breastfeeding time, there will be more frequency. Then the frequency will come down. Then it will become a 3 meal pattern. In between, if the child is hungry, you that is the time where you feed the fruit to them, and those type of snacks, healthy snacks, to help them reach the next meal time comfortably. And so again, we may not be able to, you may be thinking that, oh, Dr. J, here you are not that structured. Exactly this time you give this, exactly this time. No, it's a flow.
Mm.
There is no fixed pattern for all children. Okay. Because the mood of the child is different, the hunger level is different, the need is different, etc. So you should be mindful about it and be in the flow. Nobody will be able to define exactly like a machine.
Mm-hmm.
That is a phase where we need to listen to them. Every child's growth pace is different, their affinities and tendencies are different, their likes and dislikes are different, and you need to be sensitive to that. Spend time with them, learn about them, serve them, right? That is why even the branch of Ayurveda is called Kaumara Bhritya. Bhritya means you serve them, you are at their service.
Mm.
That is the way. So that you need to listen, you need to observe and learn about them, then support them in that, so that an independent child will develop with their own capabilities, their own talent, their own passion. That's what we need to do. We should not force children to be in the same frame and same profession. India, and now it is changing. All children born either doctor or engineer. How can that
Right,
be,
right.
right? So now it is changing. We should allow the child to grow to become what they are supposed to,
Mm.
rather than force fitting and our plan and idea into them. So that will happen only if you listen, you observe, and nurture their, gifts. Gifts are the natural talents. Every human being will have some natural talent. Identifying that and nurturing that will be the key in parenthood.
I love it.
Yeah.
We talk about flow a lot in Ayurveda. It's a key
Mm,
word. And I think of, especially
exactly.
as a child, I mean, they're dynamic, their body every single day. They're
Hmm.
developing a relationship with their body, with
Hmm.
people, learning language, learning the whole world is a completely new experience. So we have to remember they're not they're not static. They're not yeah. It's not going to be every day is the same. I mean, they can change their mind about today they like this activity or this book, and then tomorrow they don't want to look at it anymore. And
Exactly.
letting that be.
Exactly. Yeah. I always say that, kids are like a sponge.
Hmm.
Keep absorbing, keep absorbing.
Hmm.
They don't label anything, they just keep experiencing. The more we are able to support them to have that normal, wholesome experience, their base reference points will be that wholesome experience, because their entire life it depends upon their reference points is whatever experience they accrued from time to time. So helping them to develop that experience in a well-rounded way, in a comprehensive way, that is the key. That is the key. Having that support, love, but freedom, and more ability to explore and
Hmm.
identify, rather than restriction, guided exploration, controlled exposure. That control should not be in front, it should be proactive control. For example, there is a fire pit and you are with your friends and you manage to sit in a location where the child may not run into the fire pit, where you need to shout and you need to go and run and hold. So you being proactive and having a normal experience. So yeah, it's very interesting. That period is so. I always tell these days, both the parents are professionals, and they are so stressed with their work, and kid is in the daycare, and they come in the evening. They need to cook. They need to prepare for the next day. It's a very very mechanical, fast pace of life, and that's very challenging for the kids because the time with ease, it's not about technically I have half an hour for you, tell me what you need. That won't work with the kids. Like your work, you define this is the half an hour for you. I don't have no. Your ability, your pre-planning, I think we touched on this in the previous segment, that even before having a child you should plan how you are going to plan your work life balance when you have a kid. It needs preparation because that's one of the most important phase of your life, helping a new life, a new, the future world. You are developing the future world. It's a big responsibility, the parents. So
It really is. And I don't know if people fully understand that, or I mean, they say you can never really be ready, right? There's like that saying. I don't know if that's also in Ayurveda, like you're not ready until, like, you just have to figure it out as you go. But I do think that the principles of Ayurveda do help you mentally um, brace yourself for, yeah, the major lifestyle change that you're about to go through when you put another person before yourself every day and you're serving them before yourself. And it's more important that they eat on time than you, for example. So now they're eating first, you have to make their food, and it might be different than your food. And yeah, like
definitely,
everyone's working with different circumstances. Some people have stay-at-home moms that can be full-time with their kids. What a difference that makes, right?
those children are the blessed children.
Yes, very.
At least one parent available for them, especially that first few years of their life. Once they are into school, college, and all, it's a totally different ball game. But that first phase is that first 3 years.
Mm.
The second most important is the 3 to 7. The third most important is 7 to 12. Then the fourth is 12 to 16. This is the growth phase where the attention, the support needed, right? So ideally, if it may not be always practical that at least one parent available there more time and planning in a way. And I've seen many parents. I'm here in the Bay Area, and in families with where both the parents are full-time workers, either they will move into a consultancy role for a few years, or they will take a special permission to be only part-time for some time. Those type of rearrangements I've seen
Mm.
many parents taking these days. Yeah.
It's really smart. It's a really smart transition to make, thinking about, because you also want to enjoy parenthood. It shouldn't just be thought of as this work, this stress. You can sometimes see people when they have kids, they age really quickly. I've seen this. I'm sure you've seen this too. Their
Yeah.
stress levels go through the roof because they're trying to do both. They're trying to still work the same hours and somehow
Hmm.
come home, and you're still serving somebody. You're still, and then their self care time, they stop exercising, they're eating late, they're not sleeping enough. And then you see
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. I can tell you because I'm a parent,
Right,
right?
right.
I,
You too.
I can really understand. And, you need to really enjoy spending time with them. And you will not, the first year, you will not get the second year, right? The first year is gone. That nature of the first year, the way they look at you and smile during the first year, their gestures, etc. During the first year, you will get only during the first year. Second year is a new child, right? Third year is another new child, etc. And every phase, as you rightly mentioned, it's not only about serving the child or the baby to help them grow. You should also, as a parent, as a dad or mom, should enjoy spending time Because that time you cannot get it when they are in college. You cannot say that, oh, let me do, I couldn't do your age 3 to 5 much, let me spend now. They will not be there. So that is a very, you will not get that. It is that particular period. Every parent should enjoy that bonding, that connection, the care,
Mm.
and that is how your child is going to remember you. That is the connection you are going to develop for life, right? Every aspect, and you won't even realize that. I still uh, remember that at the age of 4.5, 5, holding the hands of my mother, walking to my school. My mother was a teacher, and I used to hold her hand and walk
Oh.
and come back. I still remember the stories or what she has done at that point of time and how she helped me in this. Those memories will never fade, right? And that's a part of our bonding, that's a part of our connection, that's a part of our memory. We cherish the whole life. So it should not be technically, I need to take care of my child, that is my responsibility. Technically, I know it is you need to nurture through that process. You should enjoy that journey.
Love it. So so important, and it's a good reminder for parents out there to just pause, and
Mm,
if they're ever feeling stressed out or ever having a day or a moment, just remember that this time goes so fast. And just
mhm,
remember, like,
mhm,
every day they're growing and they're getting bigger, and one day you're going to be like, gosh, I I wish I slowed down and appreciated the time versus can't wait till they outgrow the terrible twos or the whatever they call it. Sometimes they go through phases that are challenging and they're like, oh, we just
mm,
need to get through this to the next phase. And it's like,
mhm.
no, be present, right? Like that's really what I think we're
Yeah,
talking about is being present with the beauty of
exactly.
every stage as your kid is. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Now, I also, tell this that due to some reason you missed the boat. Okay, your work was so far, you were traveling, and you couldn't be with your family or child. This can happen. Either dad was out working and couldn't spend enough time, or mom was engaged in a different assignment, couldn't spend time. Then no point in worrying about it.
Mm.
No point in feeling bad about it.
Guilty.
I hear this all
The
the
guilt.
time.
Yeah.
Moms will come and for consultation. Oh, I didn't know that I should not have given that. I gave. I feel so guilty that my child is having this issue, maybe coming from that. So I tell them, there's no scope for you to feel guilty. There's no need to feel guilty because you will never do wrong thing knowingly to your child. You did whatever you know at that point of time, your awareness, your knowledge, etc. If you have done the best what you can based on the knowledge and awareness from time to time, there is no, no need of any guilt. If you have done something knowingly, oh, this is going to really create problem, but still I'm going to do, then you should feel guilty. Otherwise, as long as you have done the best what you can based on the awareness and knowledge from time to time, there is no guilt.
Mm.
You have done the best all the time.
I hope that's being
Because
received.
I see this a lot. Yeah, I see the lot. And moms and dads telling that I couldn't do that, or I did this, I didn't know that I should not have done. So happiness happens. Whenever you identify something which you need to shift, make that shift and say that I didn't know about it.
Exactly.
That's the way it is.
Right. Exactly. What are some signs that a child's vihara or behavior um, is overstimulated, like out of balance, and how can parents gently bring them back? I know now, I mean, screen time, like the iPads, the games,
Mm,
the phones, kids are just loving, I mean, things like TikTok, and then there's this other one, Roblox, and games. They just want to, the kids want to play. And it used to be that kids would play outside, right? Like
mm,
they would just make their imagination, pick up a stick, start drawing in the
mhm,
sand or the dirt or make something.
mhm,
creative, use their
Yeah.
imagination. And now I do think that kids seem to have like their
Yeah.
ADD is up, their ADHD is up. They're
Mhm.
having more difficulty focusing in school. I mean, so I'm kind of answering the
Mhm.
question of how do you know that a child is overstimulated, but how do we, I guess, how can parents navigate the reality that a lot of schools now, you, yeah, we're teaching kids on laptops, and this is kind of, I don't know if
Sure.
we're going to ever go back to the old way.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, yeah. When you say this about video game or in the dirt, nature, I just remembered, when I was a kid, playing with the coconut shell and making things with that, or the coconut leaves, and those type of things outside.
Those
So,
were the days.
uh,
Those were the day, the glory days.
so
Simpler times.
overstimulating or activity. How a parents know that is the question. That it's a fine line. No child is the same. Don't look at your friend's child and think that, oh, if my child is more active than that child, my child is not normal. Or my child is less active than every child is separate. So it's a little bit tricky to identify that fine point. But few pointers. One, when your child is not able to, can be active doing things, but not able to stop it, it is going out of even control of the child, not able to playing sometime, but not able to stop playing, and not coming for eating, not doing, forgetting the normal things and exceeding that in a very forceful way, not able to stop. That's an indicator. That could be video game, that could be other games, whatever it is. So that is one indicator. Second indicator is the child start developing more exhaustion or weakness of specific systems. For example, a child constantly watching on screen and developing, start looking by closing the eyes partially. That means there is eye strain start developing.
Squinting.
Or occasionally saying that my eye is paining. They don't know why it is happening. Or you see watering from eye and the child is keep wiping. These are all indication that, I'm just giving an example where the exposure is more than what the child system is able to handle. Now then, how to manage it, right? Usually what I've seen is parents will create certain time plan. You have 60 minutes, and the 61st minute, either you are grounded or shouting or holding it. I always say that that is more traumatic. For you, you are conscious about that 30 minutes you gave. But the child, the Mario Kart, the final lap is going on. There is one more minute. So all the rounds, laps were successful going on. The final lap, you switch off the TV, it's a trauma. You may say that, oh, I gave my 30 minutes. I committed to 30 minutes. You got your 30 minutes. While you create boundaries, be flexible. Be don't too rigid or too mean about implementing that, because sometimes that can be a real trauma. I had, about 3 months back, there was a big conflict at home, and they thought that the child got some mental illness, so that's why they reached the whole family. They come to me because the child started throwing and breaking things. Then I asked her what was the context, and the context was this: it was a game played with the friends, and the child is winning. The last 2 minutes, the parent came, switched it off. He lost that. It was a tournament he is doing with other his friends. It was a big defeat for him, and it was a big trauma for him. For parents, it's just a video game. Why you are getting so irritated? It's just a game. But for a child, the game is much more serious than your work for you. So accommodating that and able to accept that and being flexible. And on that day, you give that additional 5 minutes, then sit with them and have a positive conversation. Say that I can understand. Maybe the last lap, what you want to do. We have created this plan together, not to hurt you or create problem for you. It's about your health, etc. Let us plan in this way. And if something is more, show me some sign. I'll give you three more. Create a collaborative plan rather than trying to make them as machines. So that's very important. And then creating a plan. If there is some kind of like watering from the eye, etc., sit with them. Say, I think you are playing a little bit more. That is why, it is the eye strain. And in place of doing this, let's go to the nature. Let's go to the park and play. I'll also come with you. Let's play some soccer. Having more of a collaborative, supportive, then children, they can understand, especially when they are, the 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus, etc. If you are able to give them the rationale, the reasons, they can understand, they will accept. But when we get into this retaliatory or the forceful stopping, etc., we take it in a very light way. After all, it's a video game, but it's not just a after all, it's a video game for the child. It is so serious for them.
If
So
if
yeah,
parents unknowingly make a mistake like this, like, oops, I
mm,
didn't know it was such an important thing. I didn't know. And their child is in the middle of breaking things, right? Like, if we're actually in
yeah.
the urgent moment,
Whenever
then what do we do?
whenever the child is upset, whenever a child is showing this kind of symptoms, which you cannot retake, you cannot take it back. You have done the mistake. You didn't know that it's a mistake, but you realize that it's a mistake.
Mhm.
Hug your child.
Mm.
Hug your child. Say that, I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't know that. I know I spoiled and I cannot take it back. I'm so sorry about it. Hug them. Take some deep breath for them. While you are hugging them, you breathe for them and tell them story and support them and participate in their feelings. Acknowledge their feeling. Acknowledge your mistake, acknowledge their feeling, participate in their feeling, and not living there, saying that I've done it. Don't leave them alone without a supportive word, a consolation, and uh, facilitate that healing, the trauma. That's very important. Whenever your child is coming with any negative emotion, the best thing you can do is to hug. And if the child is also ready, ask the child to take some deep breath. You also take the deep breath for the child. They are coming scared, they are coming sad or anxious, restless, feeling insecure, anger, frustration, any negative emotion. Hug them, breathe with them, and tell them it's okay. I'm here with you. And be proactive not to have that again from your side as much as possible. Still, it may happen, but you should do that. That's the best you can do. There's no replacement for hug.
And this is why we call you the father, the divine father of Ayurveda. This is why, Dr. J, like, you are, that was the most beautiful, divine answer as a father. And I wasn't ready to feel so touched by the approach to answering that question, but really just the compassion. And you always lead with that. You always lead with your heart and with the compassion, with so much of your approach as a Vaidya and teacher is with the same essence. And it's so consistent across the board. I can ask you so many more questions. We only have 5 minutes left of our scheduled time. And I mean, I always come with a lot of questions, but I don't know. I feel
So,
like that might have been the most amazing place to conclude, because compassion, I think, as parents or to any type of leader of any sort, when we
yeah.
really come back to that,
Hmm.
may that be the place that we always return to and remember. It is so healing and medicinal for your child to know that even if they don't completely understand um, what's going on or why it's going on, if their child is in pain and they're just present and breathing with them, you don't have to
Hmm.
be focused on how to control every situation or be prepared for every situation.
Not at all.
Life is organic and dynamic. We don't always know what's going to upset them, right? It can be
Yeah.
like the biggest shock. But I think, yeah, one of the questions I was planning to ask you, which I don't think we have time to get to, but how important it is for parents to navigate or to regulate their own dinacharya and vihara for their kid. Because one of the most important things,
Hmm.
like you said, they're sponges. So it's not just how we're
Hmm.
parenting children, it's how we're modeling being a human being. How we're
Definitely.
modeling being.
Very, very important point. Because for a girl, her mother is the role model. For a boy, his dad is the role model. They will start dressing like dad and imitating dad, etc. If a girl wearing clothes like mom and doing things for by mom and taking mom's things, and so that is their aspiration, their role model, and there are certain principles we need to. And compassion, compassion is the primary healing expression, and compassion is the primary healing energy. Okay, that could be healing our loved ones, that could be healing our yogis, those who are coming with pain and suffering. Compassion is the healer for the world. Very important we nurture that. Now, parents may not be able to be exactly what kid is doing, parents also doing, to be a role model. But certain principles they should always maintain. That could be honesty, that could be certain attributes, certain things, they should always keep that. And that will help the child to learn because they have keep learning, right? I think there are certain specific attributes and elements we can discuss maybe in the next segment, what how parents can unfold themselves, how this baby can be a transforming factor for this parents on growth and development. Children will teach us a lot of lessons, even us knowing they are teaching us lessons.
Such a
So
good point that we are also learning
mhm,
from them just as much.
exactly, exactly.
Amazing. Dr. J, thank you so much for being who you are. We love you so much. It's always nourishing, healing, mesmerizing to see how you're going to answer the questions, where you're going to take it, and masterfully as always, and fully present and grateful. Very, very grateful. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to part 3.
Thank you. Thank you, Sasha. I really appreciate your great work in sharing Ayurveda with the world, and much, much needed because Ayurveda is for the entire mankind. Not only even mankind, through the mankind for all the living beings. So thank you for doing your great work in sharing Ayurveda with the world. And I really appreciate that. Okay,
We're a
thank you.
team, we're collaborating.
Of course, definitely.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you for listening to Ojas Oasis with Sasha Brashadsky. To learn more about Ayurvedic healing, please visit ojasoasis.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, have your smile.